Hello and welcome. Today we're going to paint this tulip. So grab your pencils and some watercolor paper and join along. I will have a link to this particular tulip that I am working on today. I decided to offer a reference picture so you can paint the exact same one as I'm painting. Let me know in the comments if you want like more in depth of how to draw things. For the tulip, it's basically a giant U with upside down U's, and kind of making like Bart Simpson here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just because I provided a reference picture doesn't mean you have to make it look exactly like the reference. It's funny I say that because I honestly do kind of get caught up in trying to be perfect and exact sometimes. But you have to let that go and just do art. It doesn't have to be perfect. Not every tulip is the same. That's what makes art. You know, everything's unique. We could all paint and draw the same tulip and it would be completely different. That's what's amazing about art. But this channel's for you guys, so let me know what you want to learn, what you need to know, and if I don't know it, I'll learn it along with you. Alright, I'm using masking fluid pen here. This is just, I'm going to block off some spots where I want it to remain white. So I let that dry. I'm mixing up some sap green. This is my Magello Mission Gold tin that I did a video of setting up the palette. Finally getting a chance to try it out. But yeah, I'm mixing sap green and lemon yellow. But I'm starting with the pink mixture that I already have there on my palette, which is a mixture of bright opera and rose madder. I'm going in on the leaf and parts of the stem that will be a little bit darker. So this is sort of, I'm using the opposite, basically the opposite, to kind of create the shading. But it will also kind of help mute the green once that's on there. And it'll also make it a little more cohesive, since this is the pink that I'm going to use for the tulip. But it'll make the green a little less vibrant in some areas, which I'm looking for. This green's very, very vibrant, which is amazing, but not always realistic when we're doing something like this. And I'm just adding a little more masking fluid to the bottom there. You can get masking fluid in liquid form as well. I just happen to have pen, which is nice for small areas, but it's nice to have a whole container of masking fluid if you're going to do like large areas, if you're going to mask out large areas. But I will leave a description or links in the description for everything I'm using here. I'm starting out with fresh, clean water on my brush. So the bucket of water there I have has 2 wells in it. One well has dirty water, which you can see, and the back well has clean water. So I'm just going in with clean water around the tulip. And I'm wetting the entire portion of it. And I'm going in with kind of like a coffee consistency of the pink mixture here. It's going to be more concentrated towards the middle, and you'll see I'm going to lift some of the paint up, kind of leave it a little more white. So to lift, you go in with a wet brush, and you just go back over it and wipe it off and start over again. Wet brush, wipe off. I'm doing that while it's still wet. This is the wet on wet technique, but to lift, you just go in with a wet brush and remove what you don't want. So I thought this would be fairly easy. It's only a couple of colors. What's nice about the masking fluid is it kind of makes the perfect lines for me to go in with darker color and it not lead into where I want it lighter. Kind of creates a little barrier. Dry that up. And now I'm doing wet on dry. So I'm just making parts of it a little bit darker. But I'm trying not to overdo it because I want to keep kind of that little gradient that I have going on there. So put the color on and I'm lifting off what I don't want. Let me know if there's a particular flower you would like me to paint next. I'm self-taught, but I've been doing art since I could hold a pencil, honestly. I just don't have real formal training, so I don't know technical terms that great, but you know, for this channel, I'll learn it. We'll learn it together. But yeah, I'm just showing you what I know, what I can learn. If I can learn it, you can learn it. We can learn together. If you would prefer not to see, like, basically, I mean, it's sped up, but you're basically seeing me do the whole painting here. If you would like me to just show things a little differently, I can do that as well. I'm kind of getting my bearings here. Figuring out what works for me, what works for you. This will be an ever-evolving channel. We'll grow together. There we go. We dry that up. And then we're doing the green. You can see how vibrant that green is. It's beautiful, but maybe not the most realistic, which is why I put a little bit of the pink mixture on it to begin with. And you'll see that that really does kind of mute it a little bit in some areas. But it also, like I said, makes it a little more cohesive, having a little bit of the pink that I used in the tulip down in the green. It makes the colors seem a little less separate, like they belong together. Dry that up, and I'm doing another wash. This is probably coffee consistency as well for the green. If you don't know what I mean by coffee consistency, I'm going to make a video on that. It might be out around the same time as this. But really it's probably about 70% water, 30% paint pigment. I'm adding a bit of yellow ochre to the mixture. Which also mutes the green a little bit. And I wanted it to be a little bit darker, so I'm adding a little more of the sap green. A little more sap green. So I made it into more of like a cream mixture, so more paint than water. So probably about 80% paint, 20% water. And a little bit of raw sienna and yellow ochre. And I'm going in and lifting towards the edges there, just to kind of give it gives a little more depth. Where light hits the edge. I'm painting the eyes of the flower with bright clear violet. It's pretty concentrated, pretty much just straight out of the pan. I used a size 4 round brush for most of this painting. So this little eraser thingy is to remove the masking fluid. I believe it's actually just made for this. It came with my set, the masking fluid set. And it just takes that right off. You can also rub it with your finger, but just be mindful not to, you kind of risk getting finger grease and stuff when you're painting. So now I'm just going in with a wet brush, clean wet brush, and kind of softening where the masking fluid was so it's not so sharp. And it helps it blend a little bit better. It looks a little more natural. And I'm using the bright clear violet again for inside the mouth. And going back over the eyes after it dries. Softening with the bottom there with clean water. And for the tongue, I'm adding a little more rose madder to my pink mixture. So it's a little bit darker, the tongue's a little bit darker and it stands out. So this is my little sketchbook. I'm going to show you how I use Walnut ink. It's a G nib. You just get your nib, dip it in the ink, and you pull it away or kind of away. You're not really going to push it. And then you add more ink. You kind of practice it before you ink your painting, if you want to ink your painting. But I thought I would show you quickly how to do it. If you want more in-depth tutorial on just ink, let me know. I'll show you what I know. If you have any questions, I'll figure it out. We're here to learn together. But yeah, so I'm just going in inking the stem and the leaves with Daniel Smith Walnut ink, which is not waterproof. So if you do use this ink, you want to do this once you're done with the watercolor portion of your painting. For the tulip part, I'm using Copic Multiliner. This is just a little bit thinner, a little easier to control. I don't know, the tulip part just seems more delicate, so I wanted a lighter line, more control. You could just use a Copic for the whole thing. This is their brown, which honestly is pretty close to the Daniel Smith Walnut ink color. But I'm so glad that you are learning with me today. I'm going to add a couple highlights to the eyes. Just using Golden So Flat acrylic. I could just use a gel pen, but I don't have one. Not with me. We're on to signing. Let me know what you would like to see me draw next. Thank you for learning with me today. I hope to see you again next time. Like, share, and subscribe. Help support my channel. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.